feel the general excitement for the season building just with the ranking and, all the talk, I guess, going into it?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's exciting every year. It's what we do. This is our livelihood. Once the holidays break, and the new year begins, I mean, it's on for us. But it is fun to see the excitement around the program from the fans and the media. It just gives a little more momentum going into the start of the season.
First practice today, did you like what you saw?
Not really. It wasn't our best practice of the year. The good news is, we've got 18 more opportunities before the first game, and Coach Williams had to ease my mind after practice and steal one of my sayings. You don't want to get too high or get too low. But, we're confident. This is a professional group. These kids will work hard. They understand. They know I'm going to shoot them straight. And, at the end of the day, just push them to be the best that they can be. The rankings and all that stuff, it's a nice compliment to the program. But when it's all said and done, we want to be as good as we can be. And, right now it seems like the sky's the limit for this group.
I guess when you've got kids from Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, they don't have any problem being outside in January practicing baseball. You bring some of the kids up from the South, maybe a little bit of a different deal? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely comfortable with the spring training, and that there's a mental toughness to it that, our kids know. We're going to get out there and we're going to get our work in. We're not into making excuses, and, heck, it's why I wore my tan suit tonight. I mean, it's 70 and sunny in my brain right now, so it's springtime in the world of college baseball.
And what aspects of your team do you already feel really confident about, and then where do you think this group needs the most improvement?
That I can be real with them, I can be honest with them, that they're older players, they've been through the good and bad times, the ups and downs of major Division I baseball, that I can shoot them straight, that they're not that sensitive, and be honest, be real with them, and make sure, that I'm doing everything I can to help them improve. And I think they know I care about them and want them to be as good as they can be. So, I'm confident that, every day if I don't like what I see, I can tell them. I can stop practice. We can do it again. We had to run a couple laps already today for things that I didn't like. So, but they understand that I'm doing it because you got to be able to execute when the season starts. And for us, defense is going to be the point of emphasis. I've been talking about it for the last week. Our pitching's getting a lot of preseason hype, and our offense like it should. But to be special, you have to be special between the lines on the defensive side. So that's probably why I don't feel as good as I'd like to after the first practice. But it's understandable, because it's our first full day out as a team.
With Funkhauser, you don't want to say he shouldn't be here because you never know what can happen in baseball, but what's his mindset been like since his return and now that he's back with this team after being drafted by the Dodgers?
There's a lot of things, to come back and get that degree, and graduate before he crosses the line in the pro ball. It's to get better, to improve in areas. And this fall, I thought he and Coach Williams did a really good job together, working on the breaking ball, a different array of pitches, being able to trust and throw different pitches in different situations. There's the mental side of it. Now knowing what he went through, that draft year is a challenging year for many, college kids and the pressure that they put on themselves. So having been through it for a full year, he should be better prepared mentally as well as physically going into this year. And then the enjoyment side. I mean, if you come back, it says he must be enjoying college baseball in the University of Louisville. And in his mind, he knew, we could make a run and we could go to Omaha and compete to win a national championship. So, I see a lot of factors in what Kyle's getting to experience in his senior year.
Do you have conversations with him then to help him kind of guide maybe Corey and some of the other guys who are going to be going through the same thing this year?
The good thing about our program, like you see in football and basketball, is just by observing. I mean, the younger kids get to see it. I mean, you see it when you're a freshman, you see it when you're a sophomore. There's always high-profile kids ahead of you, and you see what they go through. You learn from the good and bad and the ups and downs that they go through. So hopefully when you become a junior, you're now prepared that you got to witness it. So I would think that big junior class that we have, and we're going to have a lot of guys drafted this year, they all got to learn from Kyle Funkhauser's experience last year, and hopefully they're all better off for it.
Ming and Duval were at practice. Jose was there for a little bit. What was it like seeing your team interact with guys that are where they want to be one day? And, you know, I guess, what kind of example does that set for you?
You know, it's as you said, it's where they want to be. It gives them something to shoot for. They see how real those guys are. You know, the Dominguezes and the Duvals and Batista. I mean, these guys are so down to earth. They're so real. They're genuine. They're passionate about the game. They work hard. So it's great anytime those guys are around. And on any given day, there's several pro guys running around that field. So we open the doors, let those guys in, and they're a great influence on those younger guys and where they want to be.
When you keep in contact with these guys that used to play for you, that are going through the bus trips, the hotels, the struggles, everything that is involved with the minor leagues, what is it that they talk to you about? Like maybe not necessarily complain about, but what's their main struggle when they're trying to climb the ladder there?
You know, that they realize how good they had it at the University of Louisville, and I love how close they are because they talk to the current players. So there's many times in a regional or super regional or Omaha that those guys in minor league baseball, they wish that they were still playing. But you realize you have to get through minor league baseball to get to the big league. So, you know, they learn, you know, how to be mature, as we say, how to be a professional. And they just know they have to grind it out. But they realize, man, I had it really good, you know, and they get a real appreciation for Tom Jurich in the athletic department and how they are treated for those 3 or 4 years when they're going through minor league baseball.
They miss winning mainly?
Well, it's different, you know. Minor league baseball, it's you know, it's a team sport, but you know, individually, guys are trying to move up a ladder, so it's hard to get that college feel. That team success and the dog pile. So, but you know, we do hope if you come out of our program, you know, you're still expected to win championships, and ultimately, you see those guys who win a World Series, man, they're having the time of their life, and they're acting like kids, and so you hope what they learn here can help them, help their team win a World Series.
Coach, in addition to the national rankings, your program has been recognized for outstanding community service. Share some details with Louisville and Cardinal Nation about your experiences off and down.
Yeah, you know, I'm proud of this group. We've been great in the classroom. We just had our 9th straight semester of a team GPA over a 3.0. It's my only 4.5 years as a coach with a team, you know, GPA over 3.0. And then community service. We've always served in the community, but Chris Morgan, our FCA director, stood in front of our kids at the first team meeting in August, and we weren't ranked as high as he would like us to be on our campus. And he said, guys, I think you can be the #1 ranked program on this campus, and challenged our kids. And, you know, at the end of the semester, we were the #1 ranked program in the country, you know, so I was proud that our kids responded. And a big part of that was the trip to the Dominican, you know, but you still got to have a heart to serve. And they did. Twice we went to a girls' orphanage. Once we went to a women's shelter. We put on a baseball clinic. We fed 2 villages. So, and I think that just motivated them, seeing what a third world country was like. And when they came back, the challenge was, well, let's serve in our backyard. I mean, it's great to serve in a third world country. We should, but you know, we should also serve right here in our backyard. And so when the semester ended, I got a phone call, and it's funny because the guy who works with the company was a former player of mine at Ole Miss, and he said, Coach, man, I'm so proud to call you and tell you that you guys won this award. And yeah, I was blown away. And it goes to show you that if you push kids and you challenge them to be great, well, then they have an opportunity to be great.
Coach, how special is it for Joey Bats to be here? 3-4 months ago, he sent that epic home run.
Yeah.
Your players are with him. He's doing the leadoff. He's the main guy.
Yeah. I mean, every big leaguer, it's a treat for our guys. But, you know, one coming out of the postseason with the dramatic home run, it was his first postseason. And obviously, you know, we saw by the emotion, you know, how he responded to hitting that home run, which won the series, basically. And it was really neat for our players because we had already been to the Dominican. We were schooled on the culture and the way they play the game down there with the emotion and the passion. So we enjoyed it. You know, we enjoyed the emotion he showed and the bat flip. Now, like he told our kids today, you know, there's a way they play in Japan, there's a way they play in the Caribbean, there's a way they play in the Dominican that, you know, there's different cultures and different ways to play the game. So not everybody accepts the way that he plays the game here in the States. But it's something that we respect, and as he's learned from being in the big leagues with all the international players, everybody's got their own style.
They made such a big deal about it. Is it that big of a deal with today's generation?
No, I don't think so, because when you talk to him, and I got to spend time with him today, and I'd heard a lot about him, you know where his heart is. He's not trying to show up a pitcher or another team or rub it in their face. He's celebrating. And his good buddy Fernando, who played here, he told us before we went to the Dominican, I brought him in and had him educate the team, and he said if someone strikes you out with the bases loaded, they're going to pump their fists and scream some things in Spanish that you probably won't understand. And if someone hits a 400-foot home run off you, you know, they're going to show emotion. And that's just the way they celebrate the game down there. So, like I said, our guys didn't take it as bad. But we're competitors. I get it. If you're a pitcher, it doesn't make you happy. I don't expect you to be happy as a pitcher. But and I think we relate to it more in college because I think we show more emotion in college. The one thing I say about the big leagues, and I never criticize them because it's 162 games, but in the postseason, they play more like college baseball. They play more like kids. You know, just the emotion, the excitement. Guys are jumping over the railing. You know, they're playing the game like kids. And in college baseball, we play about a third of the season. So I tell our kids, we have to play that way. I mean, we have to play like that in college baseball. So we're fans of his passion and his emotion.
It seems like, the perception of young men that play in the Dominican Republic that are trying to make it out, like that is their way out. Their way out of maybe poverty. From your eyes, is that really as true as it seems from afar?
It is a way out, but unfortunately, it's a very difficult way out. And Jose would be the first to tell you that he and Fernando made it out because of education. That fortunately they were steered towards getting an education, and that got them into the junior college system. They both signed with Division I schools, and of course Fernando came here. He says the guys who just live and die off baseball, the percentage of making it it's so tough, and when you don't make it, you have nothing to fall back on. But I understand in a third world country, they're steered towards that direction at a young age, and by 16 you can sign a professional contract, move into one of those academies, and it's hard not to chase the dream of coming to America and playing in the big leagues.
One more?
Do you think there's going to be more of a push to get international kids into college baseball?
I would love to. I would have loved to have taken a couple shortstops back and a couple pitchers, but for our connection, it's the NCAA and being academically eligible. And certain countries are educated enough where they can, and several of our sports have a lot of international kids. In baseball, we don't, because the rich baseball playing countries, unfortunately, are third world countries, and the education's not great. And so to get them to a Division I school to be NCAA eligible, it's really tough. And I hate that for them because they're good kids, and they're smart enough kids. They lack the education and sometimes lack the English to come to America.